Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of The Final Countdown. As always, this is our monthly show where we count down the top 5 of whatever I feel like counting down that month. I am your host, James Phoenix. Joining me for this countdown over there, on when I see the screen anyway, from the Mole, well, I guess not really the Mole anymore, but from the gaming stuff that we do around here, Chriz the Mole.
And hello.
And from the movie stuff, Marcus Shadow.
Hello.
So, today we're going to count down the top 5 sequels or prequels that did not feature the main character or characters of the original. This could be film, TV, books, games, doesn't matter, anything. As long as the main character did not appear in the prequel or sequel as a main character. Though I did permit if the main character appeared in the production, as long as they were not a main character in that production.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, you said as long as it wasn't a main character.
Yep, as long as the main character is not a main character in the sequel one or prequel, it's fine. They can still appear. I have no issue with that.
Because otherwise I'd screw. I knew I was going to screw over 2 of my choices.
Yep, no, you're good on that. Marcus asked me the same thing, and I mentioned, like, for example, if you used Force Awakens, I wouldn't let you do that because Harrison Ford is kind of a main character in the movie, and he was one of the mains in the original. So
I was asking for the opposite side of it. Of is it okay if the main character's not in it at all? And you was like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, okay, good.
yeah, no, it's good.
Otherwise, that eliminates most of my list.
Fair enough. Okay, so I'll start off the order. I'll leave myself last again so I can round this out at the end. So why don't we go first to? I'll just go left to right on my screen. Chriz the Mole.
Okay, controversial choice because I know no one here is going to give a shit, but I don't care. Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Interesting.
Because Brad from Home Alone,
Yes,
as is his name.
That is his name.
Like I said, I like the drifting in Tokyo and stuff, and I like the fact technically this is the last Fast and the Furious film so far. Like they still haven't caught up to it.
Right, chronologically, yeah.
Yeah, for some weird reason. Vin Diesel does appear at the end, but it's just a cameo to just show up and go. And that's it. But it's definitely not a main character. And yeah, new character who wasn't in 1 or 2. I was going to go with 2, but that guy was in the first film as the main character, so yeah, I had to go with the third one. So yay. That's a very favorite.
Nice. And Marcus Shadow, how about yours for number 5?
Also slightly controversial, but I liked it. Jingle All the Way 2. I actually really like this movie. It's dumb fun, and I think it's better than the first one, personally.
The taste of your supposed movie critic, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sorry, I enjoyed it, so sue me.
It's cool. The movie guy can say that stuff. Like, I'm going to be putting Duke Nukem Forever on the list soon.
No. But I like this. It's just good, dumb fun. Well, not even really too dumb, but I don't know, I like the heart of the movie. The comedy it depends, but I could see, some of the younger audience, if going into it, I could see them laughing at it. I could totally see that.
All right, then. So I'm going to go ahead with mine. Which one did I pick for number 5? Okay, so let me switch over my image down here. Boom. I gave it to Home Alone 3. Because I really like that movie. Obviously, completely distinct from the first 2. Of course, no Macaulay Culkin, no Kevin McAllister, none of that. A new kid, Alex Pruitt, this kid right here. There are 4 burglars this time, as you can see. There's a woman burglar this time, too, so a little more equality. And it's just a fun film. Is there some goofy stuff that probably wouldn't happen in real life? Oh, of course there is. Yes, because it's believable that a bunch of highly trained Russian spies would lose a nuclear missile chip inside a remote control car. I'm gonna have to start breaking into houses in suburban Chicago to find it. Yeah, okay.
See,
but it's still fun to watch.
The third one was good, but you really should have gone with the fourth one. It had a female burglar. It had a new kid who wasn't Kevin McAllister with like a short little family. That's pretty cool.
Fair enough. But yeah, I really like the third one. I taped it off a TV many years ago. I still have the old VHS tape, and it's just a fun movie. I enjoy it.
I like the third one.
That's fun. Dude's got a parakeet that can drive a remote controlled car. That's awesome.
The remote control car was
360,
cool.
360.
The remote control car was cool, and even though I was older at the time, so I wouldn't want one, it did a good job of being the gadget that kids could buy.
Yeah.
In one, and I like everyone I knew from home
Yeah,
alone
that
had that fucking tape
tape
player
recorder. Yeah.
that was fucking shit when you used it in real life. I
Yeah.
was not like, but oh my god, it's so accurate, exactly like it was in the film.
I mean, I can slow it down, and people will think I'm my dad on the phone.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, Home Alone 3, great movie. Available over on DVD and wherever you find DVDs. It's old DVDs. Check it out. It's a fun movie. They show it on TV a lot of times around Christmas. Give it a shot. It's not as bad as the latter two. I will say that. And we'll take it back over to Mole for number 4.
And I can do this because each sequel does this.
Mm-hmm.
Final Destination 5.
Nice.
A film, spoilers, you don't know it's a prequel
Mm-hmm.
until the end.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it's fucking awesome. I've mentioned that in the past. I love that twist at the end where basically it's a great story. The deaths are cool. The characters are kind of cool. Then right at the end, they finally cheat death. Awesome. When they go to the trip to Paris on a plane and sit down, and then they look over and you see the original characters in the scene from the first film, where the guy's being carried off the plane, and you're like, "Oh no, no!" And then the plane goes up and blows up like it did on the first one. You're just like, "No!"
You never cheat death.
Yeah, that's what makes it awesome. And Death's a really nice guy in that film. Because if you believe the fan theory, which the writers and directors have pretty much said is absolutely correct, there's a African American guy who shows up in all the films as like a police coroner. He seems unrelated to everything other than to tell the kids not to fuck with Death and to tell them that it's nothing personal. And the way he does it, the way he acts, you're like, okay, he's kind of a nice guy. That's Death, I'm thinking. And it's true because he just keeps showing up he shows up in all the different towns too. No one would do that. No one would have that jurisdiction. That's why, like I said, he's pretty much Death. It is confirmed. It's almost confirmed he's Death.
Nice. I approve. Okay, Marcus, number 4.
All right, number 4.
These were just movies, weren't they?
Prototype 2.
Oh, okay, yeah, you put Prototype. Sorry, I thought, weren't they just movies?
Not,
I said anything. Movies, TV, video games, books.
That's what I was checking because I had Resident Evil 2 on my list, but got rid of it.
No, you can still use it if you want. You're good.
Yeah,
No,
I made sure to ask him. But yeah, Prototype 2, which surprised me because I bought the collection on PS4, Prototype 2, and I played it back to back. And I really liked the first one, and I played the second one, and when I started playing the second one, it felt really off and really weird to me because they changed the controls around almost completely for Prototype 2, and they completely changed the main character. As you could see, that's not Mercer, clearly. But so I was like, I don't know if I like this, and for a lot of the game, I didn't like the main character. But as the game progressed, I got used to the controls. I'm like, these controls are actually better than the first game. It plays a lot better than the first one. And the story was actually better than the first one. The only thing I'm not sure I like is that in this game, they took the main character of the first one, Mercer, and made him the main villain. And I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
But, yeah, so I was like, well, okay. And I don't know, I didn't like this guy much as a hero, but then by the end of the game, when you play through his story, it's like, okay, I could buy you as the hero now. Yes, the good guy, that works. And I ended up really liking this game. I'm like, by the end of the game, I was like, okay, yeah, the second game was far better than the first one. So that's why it's on the list. I'm like, I want a third one now. Yeah, Prototype is a good game.
That guy looks like he should be played by Terry Crews.
That would be acceptable if they ever made a movie of this. Because the guy is military. He was former military before he became the Prototype.
Fair enough. Is that big red thing supposed to be his arm?
That is his arm. With the blade on it? Yeah, that's his arm.
Okay, then.
Like I said, Jim, no. Terry Crews is best in his comedy roles.
True.
I don't like him in his intimidating role for some reason, but like seeing him suddenly like start twirling stuff around on lip sync battle as he skips across the stage and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome in comedy roles.
Old Spice! No!
His dance on as the dad on Everybody Hates Chris was also awesome.
That's right, he was the dad on that show. I forgot about that.
He was awesome on that. I loved that.
So yeah, Jim, his ability is he can like change his arms into varied types of weapons and stuff.
Interesting.
And when it does, it glows red and stuff because of the virus that's in him. Well, the quote the Mercer virus or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, they kind of Resident Evil'd it a little bit. It's basically, if you play the first game, it's basically corrupt government decides to unleash the T virus on the world and fucks it up royally.
Okay, then.
Yeah.
Anyway, I believe it's my turn. So my number 4, yes, okay. My number 4 is a tie, because my show, I can do that. But they go together rather well. So part 1 of my tie, is that the first one? No, this one. That's the first one. Yeah, pretty sure that's the first one. I can't remember the order, but anyway.
Atlantis, Stargate.
No, good try though. Oh no, I actually do have it backwards. That's actually the second one. They were a year apart, so I forget. Let me go back to the other one then.
It was something Atlantis.
It is Atlantis. This is a book series by Harry Turtledove, right up there. Is it cut off?
It's cut off.
I see Harry Turtledove and then the picture, the flaming picture underneath.
Yeah, I see Turtledove and then his first name has like half cut off, but that's fair enough.
Okay, not on my screen.
I see Harry.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Weird.
that's actually the book cover. It's the book cover turns black at the top where his name is. You just can't tell because there's a black around it. But yeah, it's a book series by Harry Turtledove. That's one of the series I don't own any copies of, or I would have grabbed one. But it's a fun alternate history if you're familiar with the concept. Basically, authors who go back, change an event, and follow history as it might have happened if that event had happened in the way that they purport. In this case, this is basically the story of the first book is called Opening Atlantis originally, and the first sequel is the United States of Atlantis here, and the second one is the other cover, the Liberating Atlantis, and effectively it follows the story of the land of Atlantis, which is in actuality the eastern section of the United States. The change being that at some point in the development of the planet, the continent fractured somewhere in the general area of the Mississippi River, and the eastern half of the country kind of floated into the Atlantic and became its own continent. And that is Atlantis, and Atlantis is founded in much the way the U.S. was, and we see the development of Atlantis with a lot of parallels to events that happened over the history of America, ranging from the founding of the country up to the third book is the equivalent of the Civil War. This one being the Revolution. And it's just a really fun series because being that it takes over such a long, expansive time, of course, there's no contiguous characters, but they still managed to keep you interested in what's going on by having the characters that you meet in each era be of the same lineage. They're all descendants of the original, a guy named Edward Radcliffe was the original main character, who was the first Englishman to set foot in Atlantis and kind of founded the country after, he was the first English guy. The French got there first, but the French dude owed him a favor and told him where it was. And he sets up the first colony there, and they establishes them there, and we see his descendants throughout the books being heavily involved in the history of the country of Atlantis as it's formed. We see, in the first book, it's into 3 parts. That's where we establish it. Him and his sons we see as they establish the country, get the colony off the ground. This book is, of course, the Revolution, throwing off of England, becoming a free nation, so on and so forth. And the third book follows a man who is actually the hero of the Revolution. During the Revolution, as he was out traveling with his men, despite saying that he wouldn't and trying to be a good man, he ended up having a little tryst with a slave woman, and so he ends up having he has a son who knows that he's the son of the great Victor Radcliffe, but I think it's Victor Radcliffe. But no, of course, nobody would believe that this black slave was the son of that great hero. But he knows he is, and so he leads a big slave rebellion to try to free the enslaved peoples of Atlantis.
Nice.
And it's a really good series. And particularly if you know your history, you see the parallels to the actual history. A couple of characters from real history make minor appearances here and there. Good stuff like that. Spoilers, if you don't want to spoil it, tune out this part. But in this book right here, The United States of Atlantis, there's a British colonel who comes over as a was it this one at the end of the first? Well, one of them. There's initially a British colonel who comes over because initially they're allied in their attempts to get rid of the French before the colonists turn around and throw the English out too. Because at first they want to get rid of the French, and I think the Spanish were trying to take over. And there's a great scene where they were working together. They were working together through this whole book, and when it gets to the end of the section, or maybe it was a section in the previous book, I don't remember. But it gets to the end of a section, and they only refer to this guy as the colonel, and they're sitting around this campfire near the end talking about this and that, and finally he says to him, they're in a conversation, and he says something about just thinking the last sentence, he says something about something like "good working with you too, Colonel Cornwallis," and you're like, oh shoot, that's the general that led the British in the Revolution. Okay, that's cool. So, fun little things like that, seeing these unique characters, of having a lineage where they do reference the lineage of the family in each book to establish, oh yeah, by the way, this guy is a son of this guy who you might remember from the previous book, who is related to this other guy. Because the original guy, Edward, had two sons, so they'll usually mention, oh, I'm descended through Henry, or I'm descended through the other son. They reference the lineage a lot so you can track what's going on. It's just a really great series. If you're like American history and you're interested in a cool alternate concept, check it out. Good stuff. And let's go back over to Bowl for number 3.
Alright, this is going to be a weird choice because I don't think anyone here has seen this one.
Okay.
In fact, I don't think anyone here has seen the other two either, but yeah. Journey 2, starring The Rock.
I have not seen either of those films, but I have heard of them.
Yeah, I want to see those. I heard those were good.
Why would anyone watch The Rock's films? But yeah, basically, Journey 2. He replaces Brendan Fraser as the main character, and it's a completely different style film. And in a lot of ways, it's better. I don't know why. It's just more fun. Everything about that film's more enjoyable, and The Rock's more fun as a main lead in that type of film. Not because he's better than Brendan Fraser. Like, I wouldn't want to see The Rock with the Looney Tunes the same way I did with Brendan Fraser, or I wouldn't want to see basically The Rock in most of the Brendan Fraser stuff. Like The Rock in Bedazzled wouldn't be very good, but The Rock in this role as like the action hero guy who's still somewhat lovable with the kids and has that sweet side to him. It's pretty fun.
Nice. So what you're saying is this time the Scorpion King won.
I'm saying, imagine the Scorpion King, but if he could act.
Oh, nice.
It's one of the few times I will say The Rock acts.
Cool.
He doesn't do it often, so you have to pay attention. But when he does, he acts.
Good to know. Let's go over to Marcus for number 3.
All right. My number 3.
It's your name. There we go.
Jurassic World. I really did like this movie, and it's the sequel that everybody pretty much wanted from Jurassic Park. Like, 2 was okay, fuck 3, but Jurassic World, fucking awesome. It's a great movie.
Okay, then.
And that fight was cool.
I haven't seen these. Is 3 the one that killed the T-Rex, supposedly?
Yes, T is the one with that stupid-ass Spinosaurus that should never have existed.
I thought it was an Allosaurus.
Hang on, why are you saying the Spinosaurus shouldn't have existed? That's an actual fucking dinosaur.
I meant in the movie.
It existed because it was a cool actual dinosaur.
Fair enough. Fuck the Spinosaurus. T-Rex is where it's at. Tyrannosaurus.
Oh my god, wait, did you just turn this into Power Rangers? Oh my god, that like never happens. Because
I
we're all
know.
grown-ups here. That never happens.
Fair enough. Completely unrelated note. They got a Dino Church TV at the library. Anyway, moving on. No, that's gonna bring it back around to me for my number 3. Which one was number 3? Ah, yes. Okay. There's my link. So number 3. I'm gonna be kind of shocked if Marcus doesn't have this on his list too. Boom. Switch over, you piece. There we go.
I didn't think about that.
I
Good
give you
call.
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That should be on my list. Good
That
call.
shouldn't count.
It's a sequel TV series. It's a sequel to the original
No.
TV series with new characters.
No, it's not. They list it as a spin-off.
Hmm.
A while back, they listed that as a spin-off show.
Did they?
Because it was the Star Trek Next Generation. It's got no ties to the original except for being in space and all that stuff. So they listed it as a spin-off.
Okay.
Much the way the Power Ranger series is a cam.
Okay, because the pilot literally has Bones McCoy in it, but okay.
And
But
and the TV show Joey features a character from Friends showing up.
okay, I still think it's a sequel series, but whatever. I will point out, not that this is any kind of valid source, but I will point out that Wikipedia has it on its page as a list of sequels. But anyway.
Wikipedia.
Well, I might as well just move on if it doesn't count then, whatever.
No, you can. I was just saying. I was just letting you know. I was going by what the directors and producers said in their documentary. But you're right. Wikipedia is correct.
I was going by the definition of the word sequel.
I was going by the definition of spin-off too.
Doesn't mean it can't be both.
They would know.
Yeah.
I would count it as a sequel.
Thank you. Well, whatever. I don't need to say much about it anyway. It's Star Trek: The Next Generation, of course. It picks up the premise of Star Trek 75 years after the original crew of Kirk, Spock, Bones, and company, adventuring through space, discovering new worlds and new civilizations, going where no one's gone before, having adventures, all kinds of good stuff like that there, espousing the benefits of the Federation, yada yada. Great series. I don't need to say more. We reviewed a lot of stuff related to it. Star Trek: The Next Generation. Also, this particular, I don't know if anybody can read this, but this image is actually the cover of Star Trek: The Next Generation 365. Great book. Check it out if you have a chance.
Nice. Now, one thing you could do, Jim, to get away with it is you could have shifted and say the movies. Because technically those are sequel movies.
Maybe. But whatever. It's done. Let's move along. Mole number 2.
My number 2, which has been already discussed. It's not the best sequel, but Jurassic World.
Fair enough.
Yay!
This is really fucking dumb at times with like the Indominus Rex, the hybrids. It makes sense in universe when like the military people suddenly turn going, oh, by the way, now we're evil and taking all your stuff. The Lost World is like a million times better than this, but the Lost World features a character from the first film, so I couldn't count that. But Jurassic World.
Fair enough. Right, I got a great idea. Let's attack the terrorists with velociraptors.
Yeah, literally that show when they're like, oh my god, oh now we're gonna do this. It sounds to me like how they used to pitch those fucking shows like Street Sharks and stuff. Like the sequel is just gonna be like raptors with machine guns on themselves fighting people in the street, and idiots will be like, oh my god, that's so amazing. Instead of this has very little to do with the original books or source materials. But yes, that's fine. It's cool because we took the kid from Melissa and Joey and put him in a hamster ball.
Okay then.
And
Marcus.
really dumb T-Rex fight.
Mm.
But like I said, it was enjoyable. It's just it had a load of stupid parts. Like I said, like the T-Rex stuff of
Right.
the T-Rex is running slower than a woman.
In high heels?
Yeah, the thing that's meant to be as fast as a car. That's fucking stupid. That's stupid. That'd be like having Superman not be able to outrun fucking Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh no, if Jim Gordon's in the bat suit, I could see that.
But his bat suit isn't capable of light speed, almost like travel,
Yeah,
like Superman.
Superman can break the sound barrier without trying.
Yeah, his suit can't.
Superman can move so fast that he can make the Earth spin backwards and time turn around.
Superman can move so fast. At times, he's almost moved as fast as the Flash.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Almost.
Oh, I didn't change the image. Hang on a second.
All right, Marcus, you're number 2.
Yeah, give me a second. I forgot to change the image. Where is it? There it is. Okay.
Sequels.
My number 2. So
Nice.
number 2,
$10.
Nice.
Deus Ex: Human Revolution. I loved this game. Fuck the second game. That game was a piece of shit. This game, fucking awesome. That, God, I can't remember who made the first one, but when the developers of the first one lost the IP because their company folded or whatever, and it got shunted to whoever got the second one, oh, God, the people that made the second one didn't know what the fuck they were doing. It's a terrible game. This game, yes. And it's a prequel to the first one. But this game, it's beautiful. The gameplay is awesome, and they have one character from the original that comes back, and it's a villain.
Nice.
And you don't realize that in this one that he is the main villain because he's the one like he's basically Luther, so he's pulling the strings. You don't realize he's the actual villain until the end when he comes in and saves your ex-girlfriend, and he's like, "Good work. Now you'll work for me. We will make make the future what it should be." And you're like, "Oh shit." You're like, "Oh, you fucking asshole."
He wasn't the bad guy in the first one?
He was he ends up becoming the bad guy through what happens in this game when they do the reveal at the end of he saves your ex-girlfriend, the doctor, and is like, now we're going to do what we need to do, and you find out he's like the real mastermind behind the whole thing. It sets up the first game because
Gotcha.
the corporation that leads to the first game to having the augmentations and stuff, and you're like, oh, you asshole. But this is a great game. It's got, it's a game of choice because you have multiple ways of approaching any mission. You can go stealth, you can go guns blazing, you can, go barreling through walls and punching people in the face, stuff like that. And then they have the dialogue choices and stuff, and that kind of affects the outcome of certain story points in the game. It's kind of cool. I'm looking forward to the sequel to this, though. I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay. Sounds good. Moving along. All right, my number 2 is, that one. Okay, my number 2, boom, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Yes.
Hey.
That game is fucking awesome. Back over here. Of course, this game takes place, I do not remember the exact number of years, but I think it's something like 10 years before the Kingdom Hearts, the original game. It's a prequel. And it features 3 new characters, that being Terra, Ventus, and Aqua up there. Mickey, who is a minor character, returns as a side character, so that doesn't really count. And 3 new main characters that you get to play as through the game, going through some different worlds, new stuff, new adventures, a lot of fun, slightly altered gameplay mechanics that made the game way better than the other ones. They managed to work in the adjustment of your meter, where you can pick and choose the commands you have accessible to you on your list and adjust them as need be between spells, attacks, and whatnot, which is a lot easier than the way they had it in the earlier games. So, just a lot of really fun game, great prequel. It's available on the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 HD Remix, available now on the PlayStation 3 Entertainment System. If you want to check that out, give it a shot. Of course, the originally being on the PlayStation Portable, if you can find that, that's also out there. And, give it a shot. Enjoy it. Great, fun game. If you like Kingdom Hearts, you should definitely play this prequel. The story, very important going into the upcoming Kingdom Hearts 2.8, which will feature that character over on the side with the blue hair, Aqua, in one of the playable parts, and, of course, the inevitable Kingdom Hearts 3. So, play Birth by Sleep. Awesome game. A lot of fun. Play it. Oh, Leonard Nimoy voice acting, by the way. And let's go back over to Mole for the number one.
Alright, this one's going to be a weird choice, but I say weird because it's borderline, but there's a reason. Dawn,
Okay, I would count that.
Planet of the Apes.
I would say that's
Because
okay.
all the ape character from the first film does return, although in the first film he's more like a pet and it's more about the rise up, but none of the human characters return.
Mm-hmm.
In the first one, we have James Franco. You may know him best as Harry Osborn, or you may know him best as the guy from that awesome Comedy Central roast.
Review on the old X-Pound channel now.
But basically, he played in the original like a scientist guy who sort of was trying to make you know what I mean by original, I mean the first one of this particular timeline. He played a scientist who was basically working on a cure for Alzheimer's, and it goes wrong, and it makes the apes more intelligent, but he's like a scientist do-gooder type. The new character in this one is just an every guy. He's got a wife. He's trying to do his best to just stop the apes going all ape shit. No pun intended. But basically, and as a result of that, he's likable for but equally, if that makes sense, for different reasons, and that's kind of cool. And him being an everyman means when the apes are acting more political and backstabbing and all this like politics that they do, that if you know politics, they actually throw in a load of references to old politics. But basically, yeah, that's kind of cool, and I'm like, that's great, because as a result of him being an everyman, that shows through more, because you're seeing how it affects the everyday guy like you or me, not just the scientists, and that's pretty cool. So Dawn of Planet of the Apes. Recommend people watch Rise of Planet of the Apes and Dawn of Planet of the Apes and stuff, ready for the next one.
Nice.
So, yay, that was mine.
Cool. I approve. All right, let's go over to Marcus for your number one.
Absolutely. So my number one, this may be a little bit controversial as to whether it counts, but Batman Beyond.
I thought about that.
Technically, it's a sequel to the animated series because Kevin Conroy comes back as Bruce Wayne.
Right, which is the exact reason why it's hard to count, because Bruce is the main character on that show.
Yeah, he's the main.
But he's not Batman. He's only Batman in the first episode to set up Terry being Batman. It's primarily focused on Terry.
It's focused on Terry, but he's still a main. He might not be the main character, but he is a main character. He's in almost every episode. He advises, but he's a main character. That you can't get away with that. That does.
Okay, well, I didn't really consider him a main character, but fair enough. Then I don't have a number one.
You can still talk about it. It's a good series. I would say with Bruce being there, that wouldn't totally. It's definitely a sequel to the animated series. The version haven't even said that, but it's just him being there.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I agree with that.
See, I didn't really consider him a main character. I considered him more of a plot device to further Terry's story.
That was the reason I didn't put him. That's the reason I didn't put, as I was going to Extreme Ghostbusters, because I was like, no, Egon's in every mate one. He may not be a Ghostbuster now, but he's a main character because he's still a mentor.
Yep.
Sort of like saying Tommy's not a main character in Dino Thunder.
Exactly.
Well, he is a main character in Dino Thunder. He's a ranger.
And Batman fights crime, multiple episodes.
Yeah, Bruce Wayne puts on a suit and goes out to help Terry at least 3 times that I can recall, and that's just on the top of my head.
Fair enough. I don't know, from my perspective, it didn't really focus that heavily on Bruce. I was like, okay, he's kind of there, he's the mentor, but it primarily focuses on Terry and his friends, his girlfriend, all that stuff, and his villains.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
But I like Batman Beyond. It's awesome.
Batman Beyond is awesome. That is never a dispute.
I do like Batman of the Future.
Indeed.
That's right, I went there.
Yeah, you did it there.
That's what it's called over there. It's fair.
Yeah, I don't know why his country has to change the names of everything.
Because
But
it works. And your country changes the names of stuff too. Well, you're fucking Sorcerer's Stone shit. Get that fucking shit out of here. The Sorcerer's Stone is basically what Merlin passes when he's had a bad diet.
Ah.
Thank you. It's a philosopher's stone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even give a shit about that. And it's a kid's book. And I can say it's a kid's book. Because like I said earlier, I got this. And guess what? It's a kid's book. These are kids' books. But unlike the whiny, bitchy Harry Potter fans, I don't give a shit if you call these kids' books.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what they are. It's calling a spade a spade. It's like getting pissed off if you call that an Xbox One pad.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, it's a kid's book. You can still enjoy a kid's thing.
Yep. Very true. Mm-hmm. I mean, at least we didn't,
Click.
take 4 childhood icons and erase their fighting style. But anyway, moving along.
Technically, you did.
Did we?
Ninja Turtles was edited over there as well to include stuff like removing Michelangelo's nunchucks.
Well, that's for the gimmick grappling hook. That was fucking bullshit. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you guys did that too, and you had them fighting Dreg in space, and that was in the series everyone says is the best. And you guys also gave us Fast Forward.
That is true. I will give you that.
And the new film.
Mm-hmm. And Next Mutation.
Yep.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to bring this home with my number 1, which was the first thing that, as soon as I was trying to think about this, one thing popped into my head.
Son of the Mask.
No. Fuck that movie.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective Jr.
No. Fuck that movie too, and I haven't even seen that one.
I'm very much looking forward to Marcus's review of that.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be great.
No.
But no, the first thing that popped into my head, because it seemed painfully obvious as I was thinking about it. Number 1, in this case, mostly sequels, but a few prequels too. In this case, sequels and prequels that did not feature main characters as main characters. Every Grand Theft Auto game.
Do they count?
Well, San Andreas and Vice City are prequels. The other, everything.
Like I said, that would count if you say specific lines. Saying all of them, they're constantly reboots, not sequels. Like 4 is a reboot of 3.
Okay, true.
However, 3 Vice City San Andreas counts.
Right, Vice City San Andreas prequels to 3, and then 5 as a sequel to 4 also counts.
Yeah, as I said, that I would count. I think 5's a reboot as well.
Is it?
Yeah, because Liberty City is completely designed differently to a way that wouldn't make sense if that much time had passed.
No, Liberty City is in 4. Liberty City is not in 5.
Before they mentioned it, it'll show you a map of it.
Well, 5 is San Andreas. San Andreas looks different than it did in the San Andreas game, so that would still...
No, I'm saying there's a map of Liberty City that in that game that looks different to the Liberty City in 4.
No, I don't remember seeing that. Fair enough.
Wouldn't 5 technically be considered a sequel to San Andreas, since you go back to, like, CJ's house and the ball is taken over, which happens at the end of San Andreas?
Sort of. It's still San Andreas per se, but the map's been redesigned and the world is very different. So it's more like think of it like the Ultimate Universe San Andreas.
Yeah, but it's been reimagined and whatnot, but the events still happened.
No, they didn't.
Really? I thought they actually said that.
No, some stuff, a lot of stuff changed. It's weird, but
fair enough.
Yeah, they put some references in. Some of the locations still exist. The names are the same: Mount Chiliad, Los Santos, San Andreas. Grove Street is still Grove Street, and they threw a little references like when you drive in there in the mission, you have to go there. The boss is like, "This ain't a family hood no more," but it's not supposed to be the same thing. It's just some
fair enough.
Some references for the sake of it, just like Liberty. Pretty much as you mentioned, I didn't really think of it, but basically Rockstar has a policy of every time they move to a new gen of systems, it's a franchise reboot.
Fair enough.
Because 3 was a reboot from the 2 previous games that were on PS1 and PC, I think.
Yep.
And then they
rebooted it with 4.
And then all the PS2 games counted. So you had Grand Theft Auto 3, and you technically had 4 prequels to that game because you had Vice City, San Andreas, and then also on there Vice City Stories and Liberty City Stories.
Yep. Weren't they also doing? I can't remember if Chinatown Wars was part of that one or if that was part of 4. I thought they were going to do San Andreas stories, but they didn't at one point. But I liked the Vice City stories.
Vice City stories. I like Liberty City stories. I really like that game. Cause the one thing I really like in Liberty City stories, especially because it's you get to go back to the original city as it was designed. You get to see a lot of stuff.
With
But
bikes.
What's that?
With bikes.
With bikes, yes. Before they outlawed bikes in Grand Theft Auto 3. That was so. And I like how they connect some dots of things. Like for example, one of the big things that I love that they did is you find out why in Grand Theft Auto 3 half of Staten Island is a construction site because Tony blew it the fuck up. That was awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, there's always been a lot of sequels, prequels, and things all throughout the Grand Theft Auto series, all with different characters. Sometimes, like with Liberty City Stories, with a character who was a side character in another game becoming a main character. I think Liberty City Stories did this. I think Vice City Stories was the same thing, where you were playing as the brother of a character that was in the Vice City game.
Yeah, which I'd say the Grand Theft Auto 3 series did that the best for
Yes, very much so.
For the purpose of what we're discussing, because arguably I think number 4 may have also done it better.
Yeah, because 4 had it had what became known as episodes from Liberty City, but that was the Ballad of Gay Tony, and what was the other one? There was another one.
Ballad of Gay Tony, and there was another one, but I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember it either.
But the characters on that were a lot more interesting than someone who's constantly pestered to go bowling.
Yeah. It's been interesting how they've gone through a variety of different things that they've taken in and out of the games based on popularity. Of course, in the original San Andreas, they added so much customization to you've got to make sure you eat in order to not die and lose out. Then you've got to work out and get your haircut and change clothes to impress all these girlfriends. Like, there was a little too much necessary micromanagement in that game, and they realized that, and when they moved forward, they didn't have all that in there anymore, but enough of it that it was cool.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Indeed. So, overall, a lot of fun. And, let's see, yes, also Chinatown Wars was in the Grand Theft Auto 4 Liberty City. So,
Fair.
Yeah, so several prequels and tie-ins right there. And, of course, the PS2 series is the one that most of us remember because that's where Grand Theft Auto really took off and became a thing and defined the genre of open-world sandbox play.
I remember it from 1. I liked 1, London, and 2.
Fair enough. See, I never played any of the original 3, so...
See, they were some of the games I played the most on the PS1.
Fair enough.
I have the PC collection for that. Those are good games.
PC elitist. Anyway, yeah, but Grand Theft Auto games, of course, so many different games, so many different characters you get to play as. Other characters appear as minor characters become main characters, but you've never played as the same main character in any 2 Grand Theft Auto games, and that's something that makes them unique. Is there's always new characters, there's always new things to explore. You're always a different aspect of life, different locations, a lot of good stuff. So, Grand Theft Auto games, the video game master of the sequels and prequels with not main characters, because most of them are fucking dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that is the end of the final countdown for this month. A look at the favourite sequels.
Stop stealing my ending, you bastard.
Please join us next month for our top 5 Jim Carrey sequels.
Wait, next month for what?
Join us next month for the final countdowns list of our top 5 Jim Carrey-less sequels.
Ha! No.
Jim Carrey-less sequels?
Yeah,
Yes.
like Son of the Mask, Dumb and Dumberer.
Ace Ventura: Pet Detective Jr.
Yeah.
Yep.
Someone's going to say Batman and Robin.
Ha. Fair enough. All right, well, thank everybody, you all out there in internet land, for joining us for our countdown of the month. Next month's countdown actually will be, in honor of Valentine's Day being in February, we're going to count down the top 5 romantic couples in media, and again, that can be from anything in media, movies, TV, books, games, any romantic couples.
Spoiler, if you guys on your list do not have Ross and Rachel, you're wrong.
Agreed.
Even if they were on a break.
I seriously need to go back and watch that series.
Would you get pissed off if I put Joey and Rachel?
They weren't really a couple. In fact, they never
Okay.
really got together.
Fair enough.
They tried to work things
'Cause
out,
I know
but
they did that. They did that storyline where Joey accidentally proposed to her while she was in the
yeah,
hospital.
they did the storyline where he accidentally proposed to her, but they also did another storyline where he fell in love with her. They tried to kiss and kept laughing and realized they were just too good friends for it to actually work, so
Mm,
they went their separate ways. So they
fair
never
enough.
actually were properly together.
Fair enough.
Monica and Chandler would count,
Yeah, that's a good one. That is a good one.
and Phoebe and Ant-Man.
Oh, that's right. He was playing. Yeah, I forgot about it. That's right. I forgot. He's in that show.
Uh,
Does that mean she's going to be cast as the Wasp?
No, they used the chick from Lost for that. But yeah. So that has been our countdown. So yeah, romantic couples across the board should be interesting to see what we come up with here, and we'll see you next month for that. Of course, stay tuned for more great videos coming up all the month of February right here on Pets of the Mind. Good night, everybody.